How about that processional? Thank you, Aya Inglis, class of 2031. Welcome, everyone, to the Santa Fe Prep Middle School promotion for the 2025-2026 school year. It is always so lovely to see families, friends, teachers, and of course the stars of the show today, one last time, the students. Here at Prep Middle School, our end of year rhythm is different than most other places. We had our last day of classes last Wednesday. We had our end of year blue and white track meet on Thursday, a celebration day on Friday. 7th graders went to the Pecos Mountains, and then our 8th graders headed off to float the Rio Grande for 2 days before coming back for this official promotion ceremony. I look at today's celebration and ceremony as the exclamation point at the end of middle school for this amazing group of students. I was unable to attend the trip this year, but I am certain and have heard that it was such a memorable experience for all of the students and teachers. And I am actually waiting to see evidence of how those super soakers fared on the river. And who came out on top? Teachers? Students? Which one? I think it depends on who you ask, right? In my role, I often reflect on something that my predecessor in college, Coach Chakers, said, that teaching middle school is a team sport. The first time I heard it, it resonated so truly with me of how true that statement is. We could not do what we do to support our students without each other. And let me tell you, this team, sitting right behind me, is one of the best. But you see, on this team, our victories or wins don't come from a score on a scoreboard. We win by seeing our young people begin to discover who they are and build foundations. Our wins come from seeing a student persevere and have that aha moment, or knowing what to do when they didn't know what to do. You know, I was going to put that in there. They come when we hear them reflect on the service they provided to their community or ask amazing questions that show their curiosity and that they are really listening. Yes, we do have proof that they listen on occasion. And you would not believe the sense of victory we feel when a student remembers to pick up their trash or remember their sweatshirt on the Bonko. We are talking like home runs or slam dunks, specifically Chet Holmgren slam dunks. Sorry, Derek and Santi, I had to. Parents, you have often heard me reference the village we strive to be. I'd like to thank you for trusting us to be part of your village. I'd also like you to join me and take this opportunity to say thank you to my teammates who are the real MVPs. I would dare say that we as adults tend to look back on our middle school years that were inevitably filled with angst, social drama, life lessons at every turn, and emotional roller coasters and think, man, I am so glad I just survived middle school. I highly doubt you will find many people, if any, who look back on middle school with extreme fondness and think, I wish I could go back and do it again. In fact, I've talked to many people who have quite literally blocked out those years from their working memory. It is just a developmental stage that is universally tough to get through for everyone, a rite of passage, so to speak. I would say that our shared goal as a middle school team is that we want our students to not just survive, but thrive in these 2 years. And that's what a celebration like this one is about. Oftentimes, when you are a prep school, the end goal is often working to build a transcript to get to college. Middle school can just be seen as a stepping stone to high school. Celebration of this particular milestone could easily get overlooked. I mean, their upper school commencement and formal entrance to adulthood is only 4 years away. Sorry for that reminder, parents. But in my personal and pretty biased opinion, making it through these particular 2 years with smiles on your face is a huge accomplishment and should be celebrated. So smile. There we go. I am so grateful that here at Prep we continue to make this day a priority. We get dressed up, we create the program, we practice processing, and we take time to celebrate the countless ups and downs. And I mean countless, like probably even this morning. Anyone ups and downs this morning getting ready? Yep, thank you. But we have helped build a strong foundation as these students enter their next era at Prep. You are going to hear from some of our students today about the aforementioned ups and downs over the past 2 years, and most importantly, how they have grown from them and what they have learned along the way. That's what our middle school is all about, giving that safe place to mess up, a soft landing when they fall, and being your biggest cheerleaders when they succeed. Sometimes we do that all in one class period. I say it every year I have the opportunity to give this address. Apologies, parents, for multiple children in the audience. You might hear me say this over and over. But as middle school educators, we don't often get to see the fruits of our labors up close or as obviously as teachers of other age groups. Elementary teachers get the adoring fans in their students. They see them learn to read their first words or do their first multiplication problem. Upper school teachers see them as they start to drive, become responsible, apply to and get accepted into colleges, the on-ramp to becoming adults. We, however, pour into our students during a time when, like most all of us remember, the social dynamics and emotions of adolescence reign supreme. This is a reality we all know, and yet we still choose this vocation because engaging, nurturing, and guiding middle schoolers is our calling. If you have ever known a middle school educator, you know that is what it is, a true calling. Not to mention, we just really enjoy laughing on a regular basis because whether they realize it or not, they're hilarious. And now to you, students. This is when I remind you to remember who loved you in all of your middle schoolness. When shenanigans were abundant and attitude and sass permeated, make sure you come back and visit so that we can laugh about these days for the next 4 years. I know so many of you are just itching to make that jump to upper school next year, to get freedom, feel more responsible, have free periods, and we are so excited for you to do that. But first, let's use this day, your final day as 8th graders, as a way to celebrate the time you have spent getting ready for this next chapter. I know that all of you will find your way, your people, your passions, and that you will face challenges and come out better for it in the end. You're ready. And we, your village, look forward to continuing to cheer you on as you grow. I mean, the middle school quad is just a slight detour out of your route, and we will be ready with hugs, high fives, Bonnie snuggles, and of course some thinking mitts. So come back over and hang out for a bit. I'll even let some of you come in and continue to argue about Uno rules. And now, enough from me. Let's get this program started with the good stuff. Our first student speaker is Sunny Garofalo with a speech appropriately entitled Middle School.
Hi, okay. Can I move this down? I'm gonna move it down. Okay. When being assigned the speech, we were given 3 prompts. Those prompts were, what does middle school really teach us, whose voice helped shape mine, and how have our differences made us stronger. The truth is, I don't think that any of these prompts could capture a fraction of the lessons I've learned during my middle school years. Everything that has happened has shaped me into the person I am and has urged me to become the person that I want to be. During my middle school years, I met so many life-changing people who have truly shaped me. Not just my voice, but the person I want to present myself as. They've taught me so many lessons and shown me how much kindness is in a small community. Even though he moved on from teaching at prep during my 7th grade year, Cheney introduced me to the love of music that I have now. And even though she moved to New Zealand, Miss Jansen taught me that you aren't defined by a number. Miss Brashawn introduced me to a love for writing, and Brad introduced me to the idea of acting and theater. Miss Robinson taught me how to live in the discomfort, and Dr. Sam taught me how to try new things, even if they're scary. Miss Stagger showed me the beauty in giving yourself time to be still, and Liz told me to stay positive even when it wasn't always fun. Senora Shakers taught me to challenge myself even when I didn't have to, and Miss Z told me it was okay to give myself a break. I'm not the perfect student. I'm late to classes, and I don't always turn my assignments in on time. My teachers don't shame me, though, because they know I'm trying my best. Trying my best. That's all one can do, is try their best and hope that that's enough. And what I've learned is that sometimes trying your hardest doesn't mean you won't make mistakes. Mistakes are what create room to grow, and as much as I hate to admit it, I've made plenty of mistakes these past years. I missed lines in the musical and made some people angry. I got points off a few tests and said things I shouldn't have. I didn't say no when I should have. This isn't anywhere near all of them, but that's okay, because I try my best when I can. I try my best when I'm tired, or when I'm angry, or when I feel like giving up. I know I didn't get along with everyone all the time, but I was trying my best, and I know they were too. I've learned it's bound to happen. Eventually, you will disagree with someone, and you will feel like you are too different from others. You can't please everyone, and not everyone can please you. There we go. but being able to overcome differences is one of the best and hardest things to do. I've been taught by my peers that being able to overcome something can only make you stronger. Everyone is trying to better themselves, including myself. Differences mean diversity, and bettering yourself is something everyone can do, regardless of who you are. Now let me let you in on a little secret. I think that all the prompts we were given are related to each other, because overall, we were all taught things we didn't know before 7th grade. And some of those lessons were taught through people, some through experiences, and some through the act of maturing. Regardless, none of us would be who we are today at our 8th grade promotion without the teaching moments of everyday life. You don't always realize that you're learning. The newfound wisdom doesn't abruptly appear, but one day you will look in the mirror and see how much you've changed, and you will know exactly what made those changes happen. This is just a small part of what prep has taught me, but I also know I am nowhere near done learning. Thank you.
Our first musical number is from a band that was beginning their rise to fame about 2 years ago, with 2 of its members actually sitting right there. Since then, they have made quite a name for themselves, performing all over Santa Fe and beyond, and we are proud to call them ours and are grateful for their continued contribution to our prep community. Please welcome the Loombros.
Who's to say what's impossible they forgot? This world keeps spinning, and with each new day I can feel a change in everything. And as the surface breaks, reflections fade, but in some ways they remain the same. As my mind begins to spread its wings, there's no stopping curiosity. I wanna turn the whole thing upside down. I'll find the things they say just can't be found. I'll share this love I find with everyone. We'll sing and dance to Mother Nature's songs. I don't want this feeling to go away. Who's to say I can't do everything? Well, I can try. And as I roll along, I begin to find things aren't always just what they seem. And I wanna turn the whole thing upside down. I'll find the things they say just can't be found. I'll share this love I found with everyone. We'll sing and dance to Mother Nature's song. This world keeps spinning and there's no time to waste. Well, it all keeps spinning, spinning, round and round and upside down. Who's to say what's impossible and it can't be found? I don't want this feeling to go away. Please don't go away. Please don't go away. Is this how it's supposed to be?
Our next student speaker is Esme Russell with a speech titled How Our Differences Make Us Stronger. She'll be followed by Eleanor Coberly delivering Thank You Middle School.
you imagine a black and white world, one devoid of color, where everybody looks, dresses, and acts the same, one where everybody holds the same spiritual and political views, one where everybody has the same beliefs, and no one speaks up and has their own opinion, I think this would be a very uninspiring place if everyone were the same. In fact, I don't think this is human. Human beings are extraordinary because we are all unique, and ideally, we can all coexist with each other. If you take away our differences, you take away humanity's power. This is not to say that I've not wished to look like one of my classmates, or wished that I had the same pair of jeans, or flipped through a magazine and thought to myself, wow, I wish I looked more like her, because we all want to fit in, particularly in middle school. But I would not change human diversity for anything, because that's what makes us special, and that's what makes the world exciting and interesting. But the thing I've come to learn at Prep is that we are all unique. We all come from different beliefs about religion. We all come from different kinds of families with different ideas, backgrounds, and interests. And we all learn in different ways. I'm a prime example of this. Before coming to Prep, I came from a school where all of the students were similar to me in the fact that they struggled with learning differences. When I came to Prep, I was worried that I would not fit in, that I would be the only one with dyslexia, the only one who needed extra help reading, the only one who needed a tutor, and the only one who didn't learn in a typical way. I was afraid that I would not fit in. But once I found my place, I realized that every one of my new friends had their own worries. In my time at Prep, I've met many different people with different ideas from mine. The latter was the hardest for me, because anybody that knows me knows that I'm a strong-minded, opinionated person, especially when it comes to my beliefs about justice, liberty, and equality. This often plays into politics. So, as a hot-headed 7th grader, I had many conflicts with a close friend of mine about this very matter. But what I learned is that even if we have opposing views, it doesn't need to divide us. I learned how to peacefully coexist with people whose ideas were different from mine. And as Ms. Robinson often says in our middle school assemblies, strength lies in differences, not in similarities. I learned how to listen and to respect differences. I evolved, but without giving up my beliefs or becoming a different person. That's how I've grown as a middle schooler at Santa Fe Prep. I took the sharp, jagged edges of my personality and sanded them down so they wouldn't hurt people, but they will always be a core part of me. I've learned skills to help me communicate so people can hear me. The world we're growing up in today is complicated and often scary. It's confusing. Particularly in middle school, we students feel pressure to fit in, to be normal, and to conform. But what we actually need to do is we need to hold fast to our differences, because they are actually our strength. Being like everybody else is boring. It's okay to be different from the person sitting next to you. In fact, it's good, it's necessary, and it's what a functioning community looks like. Diversity is life. Without it, we die, and our society collapses. As we look ahead into high school, we need to lean into our differences, as they are our most valuable assets. We are lucky to be at a school where we have the freedom and privilege to express ourselves and to embrace our differences. Don't let our differences divide us. Let them instead unite us. Thank you.
"How was your day?" my mother would ask me after school. I replied with the usual fine or the same. But if I'm being honest, most days it wasn't fine or the same. Some days I would get a good grade on a test. Others, friend drama would overwhelm me. So why don't we open up about these things? It's hard enough keeping our emotions bottled up inside of us. But something that I've learned throughout middle school is that it's even harder to share them. It's hard to open up about what you're going through. The pressure of getting good grades and maintaining friendships is hard. Middle school teaches us math, how to write an essay, and evolution. But a hidden lesson that school has taught me is that even though personal things are hard, if we open up, we can grow from them. At the beginning of 7th grade, I was constantly stressed about my grades. It filled my thoughts, my routine, and my friendships. I wasn't ever worried about having fun. I only cared about an A. I still remember getting a bad grade on a quiz and panicking. I studied day and night. I came in for extra help till I was positive I would get a good grade on the upcoming test. While it's good to be prepared, it's not good to overwork yourself. I barely told my family and friends about what I was going through, and it was eating me from the inside out. Going into 8th grade, I decided I wanted to try something new. I tried to stop pressuring myself into getting good grades, and I started actually trying to understand the material and learn. I gave myself more time to study for tests instead of being extremely stressed the night before, and I had teachers who I was able to connect with and share. It was like a weight was lifted off of my shoulders. Opening up and telling people what was going on in my life was hard, but over time, it got easier to handle. Eventually, I found it easier to share my personal life and my school life with my parents or teachers. And that doesn't mean I can't improve. One of the main things that helped me feel like the workload was more manageable was having support from my teachers. And one teacher in particular helped me the most, Miss Jansen. Not only was she my advisor, but I felt comfortable around her. Her class was always a welcoming environment, and she always had a smile on her face. I still remember, one day, I was telling her how stressed I was for a test, and she told me something she used to tell all of us. A grade doesn't define you. I find this quote super inspiring. This made me realize I wasn't just a number. I had a personality, and I had things that I loved to do. I had family members and friends. So hearing this made me feel instantly better. And that made me understand that even if I failed that test, it would be all right. So thank you, Miss Jansen. You've made a huge impact on my life. So now, as I'm going into upper school, I want to take everything that I've learned in middle school with me. But I also want to branch out and continue to find out what works for me. And if I could say anything to that scared little 7th grader I was on the first day of middle school, I would say this. School isn't about getting that grade. School isn't about fitting in. School isn't about being perfect. It's about learning and growing into the person that you're meant to be. Thank you.
Was switched. And now, the middle school musical theater cast of 13 Junior will be performing a piece from the musical called A Little More Homework. Following their performance, we will hear from Santi Hernandez giving his speech titled The Weight of Regret.
Counting on me to come through. You should know that I'll give you the best that I can, but we all have a little more homework to do. I am trying to follow, I am trying to lead, I am trying to find what is true. But if you're gonna stand with me, you have to concede that we all have a little more homework to do.
Day turns to day, turns to day, turns to day, turns to day, turns to day. You get a little bit older, a little bit taller, a little bit better, a little bit. Day turns to day, turns to day, turns to day, turns to day. And the days ahead come on too fast. You can't hold on, so you go day turns to day, turns to day.
All right. 2 years, 360 days, 1,440 hours, 86,400 minutes, and 10,368,000 seconds have all led up to this moment. As I stand here talking to you all, I'd like to reflect on how much we have changed over the years. Whether you notice it or not, everyone has changed here emotionally and physically. Yet, as I look back, I don't just remember the times I laughed with all my friends, or was dismissed from class on a Friday afternoon. I also look at the embarrassing moments I've had throughout my middle school years. The more and more I think about it, the more I'm filled with a haunting sense of regret. And as I was trying to write the speech, I tried my hardest to think of the moments we could all cherish together and be proud of. Yet all I could think about was tripping over my untied shoelaces while the senior girls watched me. I'm sorry. Every small interaction I have with my peers or teachers, I overthink every single one of them and ask myself, why did I say that? Regret can only be described as a haunting and paralyzing emotion that never goes away. And I'm sure everyone has a memory they wish they could just erase from their mind. Regret is something that affected not only my academics, but my life as well. Yet, as much as I deeply hate regret, a part of me is happy it comes to mind when I look at middle school. Regret is something that I'm surprisingly really grateful for, which for almost all people, gratefulness isn't exactly what comes to mind when you hear the word regret. But whenever you feel regret, I see it as evidence they hold values and care about people. Here in middle school, we see regret everywhere, whether it's a breakup, a failed test, or a sport. The saying, regret proves you care, reframes regret positively. Instead of seeing it as failure or weakness, it portrays it as evidence of caring about your outcomes. Not sure if anyone's heard of the 2010 movie Flipped, which was a story of two 8th graders, Bryce Losky and Julie Baker. Bryce always misjudged Julie. He initially found her annoying, but Julie was deeply in love with him. However, Bryce slowly sees the bravery and beauty in Julie, and eventually, he fell in love. Julie would give the Losky family fresh eggs for a long time, but Bryce would always throw them out because his dad worried they might be unsanitary. And when Julie caught Bryce throwing them out, she felt deeply hurt and embarrassed, and avoided Bryce just as he was catching feelings for her. Long story short, Bryce saw the beauty in Julie too late, and regrets how he treated her at the start. Yet he chose he cared for her. A person incapable of regret is not free of suffering. They're free of conscience. I know this speech might not be the most emotional or favorite, but I honestly could not care. What I do hope for, though, is that this speech sticks with you. All we can do now is continue forward, and as much as I hope that we won't make any more mistakes in the future, everyone will. Yet I hope that the ones we do look back on, we look at them from a different perspective. That the regret we feel shows we cared about that moment. We'll regret the times we missed out because of fear. We'll regret the times we put someone else down, and we'll regret the times we couldn't stand up for others. We'll regret those moments because we cared about those moments, because we have integrity and consciousness, because at the end of the day, no amount of guilt or regret will change the past, yet no amount of anxiety will change the future. And as musician Jelly Roll once said, the windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror because what lies ahead is more important than what lies behind. Middle school may have taught me many things, but the most important thing it taught me is that I have to let go of the past to have a future. Thank you all, and please never let regret be something that slows you down, but rather as a reason to keep moving forward. Thank you all.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Aaron Schubach. I think I need to change my speech because I was going to use the same Jelly Roll quote. Heather Robinson asked me to share a little bit of a background on the portrait of a graduate, and that will inform the subsequent awards which we're about to give. In 2022, in tandem with our reaccreditation process, a committee of 15 faculty and staff members developed the portrait of a graduate. Students, you might think it's funny to learn that some of the teachers asked if this was busy work and wondered how it would change their overall grade. But we knew that emerging successfully from a pandemic and seeking to build upon the 33 years of leadership between Steve Machin and Jim Leonard would help us have a roadmap to explain who we are, where we came from, and why what we do matters. The committee was looking for interdisciplinary traits that could be taught in a classroom, that could be assessed, and describe habits of mind. But because, despite our hardcore college prep reputation, Santa Fe Prep is a bit of a touchy-feely place, we found these, but we found so much more. Specifically, we found that our faculty also wanted to talk about the character traits and virtues that they hoped our students would acquire. In short, we went looking for habits of mind, and we found habits of heart. This process yielded our refreshed mission statement. Guided by our core values of courage, curiosity, respect, resilience, and integrity, Santa Fe Prep engages students in active discourse in preparation for lives of uncommon purpose. I would add that since the development of universal access to AI, having a concrete vision of what human intelligence looks like has been very, very helpful. There are 6 portrait of a graduate traits. Number 1, intentional craftsperson, a dedicated individual who actively seeks and overcomes technical and intellectual challenges across disciplines, demonstrating agency and resilience. Number 2, critical and creative thinker, a reflective thinker who synthesizes prior knowledge, considers diverse perspectives, and identifies patterns to understand and innovate. Number 3, effective communicator, a skilled communicator who listens attentively and articulates ideas in various ways, engaging in thoughtful and respectful discourse. Number 4, culturally aware and responsive citizen, a globally minded individual who values cultural diversity, appreciates differing perspective, and contributes to a more equitable world. Number 5, steward, a responsible individual who recognizes their interconnectedness with the world and actively contributes to the well-being of their communities and the environment. The last, balanced person, a well-rounded individual who cultivates mental, emotional, and physical health to engage in the world with purpose and care. Since that time, our middle school awards have been connected to the portrait capacities to help us recognize and celebrate excellent work and to open the range of possibilities for recognition to all areas of our mission and program. Without further ado, Heather Robinson will share this year's award recipients.
This year, as we sat as a middle school faculty, we realized that we had many students who did not necessarily fit into one of the portrait of a graduate capacities. Instead, what we found is multiple students who stood out in all or many of them. After all, that's what the portrait is intended to showcase, a wide range of capacities we hope students embody as a prep graduate. So we will be recognizing 6 of our students as a portrait of a graduate. From the moment this first young person stepped onto our campus, it was clear that they were a leader. While his academic and athletic accomplishments are admirable, the thing that stands out most is the way in which he cares for others. In one teacher's words, he is intentional in all aspects of his life. He considers, asks questions, and considers again. And even more importantly, he accepts mistakes that he makes graciously and works hard to improve from them. Additionally, he is this way in his social interactions. He is intentional about including others, not mocking others, and helping out when needed. And although he is not here with us today, I wanted to recognize our first Portrait of a Graduate Award recipient is Derek Nauman. Our next student is someone who has stood out to his teachers as a quiet leader. He is never the loudest or the most vocal, but when he speaks, his teachers and his peers listen. In reference to his approach to his academics, his teachers say he may be quiet, but he is always thinking. He has an admirable ability to put concepts together, link ideas, and take those ideas further. He asks great questions, illustrating his thought process. He is always curious about the more advanced concepts. Our second Portrait of a Graduate Award goes to Zachary Schlachtis. If you are here, you come up and get your award. This next student is also what her teachers would call a quiet leader. She is not only a strong student, but is a true artist when it comes to all facets of her life, whether it's performing, creating, or showing her understanding in her academic classes. She is a loyal friend who leads by example and with a great deal of empathy and understanding. She shows up and gives her all in all that she does, and consistently shows what it means to be a steward of others. We are pleased to present a Portrait of a Graduate award to B. Hike Lopez. Our next award recipient is a steward in every sense of the word. In his friendships, when there is conflict or difficult decisions to be made, he demonstrates responsibility towards himself and towards others, mindfully and with utmost care. He cares deeply about the world around him, so much so that he spends a great deal of his personal time studying and learning about ecosystems and how humans have impacted them, and how we can work to restore them. He truly understands why it is important to care for our community, our school, and ourselves, and is always the first to lend a hand to do whatever he can to positively impact those around him. Declan Welch is our next Portrait of a Graduate. My first impression of our next award recipient was sheer awe at how insightful and self-aware she was, even as a rising 7th grader. Over the past 2 years, we have seen the student grow in confidence, poise, and courage. Her teachers have commended her in many ways, calling her an attentive listener, which they very avidly recognize as a learned and practiced craft, especially for someone so young. She is a masterful artist both on stage and in the studio, and yet the thing that stands out to her teachers is that she is intentionally kind, supportive, and a loyal friend. Our next recipient is Zinnia Kilpatrick. Our final award recipient keeps himself busy, but it is obvious to his teachers that he intentionally seeks balance in his life. He gives his very best to his sports, his academics, his school obligations, and his family responsibilities. He is an exceedingly articulate communicator who exhibits a perfect balance of confidence and humility. He consistently strives to enhance his understanding of the world around him, showing what it means to be a lifelong learner. Our final recipient is Mateo Bleichmar. And to round off what I referenced earlier as the good stuff, our last student speaker is Zach Court with a speech titled Small Moments, Big Impact.
When people ask us about middle school and our experiences, most of the time we'll give some bland, emotionless answer, saying that it was amazing and it really made me enjoy school, or it was a waste of time that bored me to sleep. Now, I can't disagree with these opinions because it's true. Not every day was unforgettable. Some days felt exactly the same. Walk into class, check the clock, listen to teacher yap, wonder how 5 minutes could feel like an hour. There were moments of stress, confusion, and let's be honest, a whole lot of, wait, we had homework? But even in those ordinary days, something important was happening. It's repetitive, carefree days like those where we learn some of the hardest lessons, such as how to show up, even when it's been a long week and you're tired of sports and homework. And how to stay organized, or at least say we're organized when we're ripping out pieces of crumpled paper that were due a month ago. And most of all, we learned how to be persistent, focused, and how to keep working, even when all of our distracting surroundings are telling us otherwise. In between the boring nonsense and schoolwork, there are still great moments. Life-changing or not, they stick with us or they don't, but they give us experiences that shape us for the better or the worse. Like a friend who cheers you up on your down days, or a teacher who pushed you to work harder. Or maybe you finally understood that math problem that you've been struggling with. These small moments may feel like you're winning the World Cup or the Super Bowl. No one ever notices, but that's what's important. Learning that your accomplishments don't always matter, but what does is how you build off of them in the years to come. Middle school is also the time that most kids figure out who they want to be, whether that's the practical joker who lightens the mood, or the hardworking academic weapon, or even just a friendly person who minds their business and has no problems with anybody. And also, if we're going to be the kind of person who calls a mistake a failure or a growing point. This kind of decision can also carve out our friend groups and the people we associate ourselves with. And if we're going to allow others to slow us down or hold us up when we can't ourselves. All of this is growth, whether it's in our clothes, our opinions. It's all made through trial and error, over and over again. Looking back, it might not feel like middle school was the most exciting time of our lives, but it was important. It was a time where we learned how to handle responsibilities, how to deal with challenges, and how to keep moving forward, even on the most bland days. Because the truth is, life isn't always made of big, dramatic moments. A lot of it is just regular days. And if we can learn how to find something good in those days, then we have learned something very valuable. As we move on to high school, we don't need to pretend middle school was perfect. We can appreciate it for what it was. And that is a stepping stone. A time full of ordinary moments that helped us grow in ways we didn't always notice. In the end, finding a good and an okay experience is a skill. It's realizing that even when things aren't amazing, they still matter. And if we can do that, then no matter what comes next, even homework we forgot to write down, we'll be ready. Thank you.
And now it's time to be promoted. Students, as I call your name, please come and receive your certificates. We'll go row by row, so if the first row will stand. Remember those handshakes. Camille Gray Allen. Hudson Roy Altwies. We need to go around, go over that way. Okay. Landon M. Barros. Bo Bassett. Avery Francis Bell. Veer Bandiri. Logan Biggs. Oliver Blanchard. Second. Mateo Blachmar. Amar Preet Bodell Stulpnagel. Nelson Burns. Sabine Kathy. Alexis Isis Chanchu. Eleanor Atrip Coberly. Santiago Duran. Hema Lynn Estes. third row. Maxwell Feinberg. Annabelle Fuge. Catalina Camila Garcia. Asundia Luz Garofalo. John Tegan Gorley. Wrangler Gubelman. Annie Gutierrez Bartolome. Santiago Mercado Hernandez. Joel Ezra Hoffman. Beatrice Elizabeth Hike Lopez. Layla Rose Kiley. Zinnia Marie Kilpatrick. Zacharias Court. Max Lawrence. Madeline S. Lopez. Mateo Love Courts. Aiden Nixon. Evie Colette Odiamar. Edie Josephine Otto. Nathaniel Perlack. Pablo Diego Prophet. Dahlia Reese Roach. Esme Lorca Russell. Amina Hanan Sabir. Zachary Schlachtus. Mary Louise Snyder. Maxwell Stephen Stanek. Conrad Stengel. Victoria Louise Stryker. Jacob Torres. Chloe Valencia. Julian Vargas. Landon Vargas. Dexter Paul Vaziri. Fiona Margaret Veely. Stella Walcott. Simon Wallace. Max Walta. Declan Welch. Congratulations, you are no longer 8th graders, class of 2030. And now I would like for Ashley Satterthwaite, our head of upper school, to come and welcome you to the upper school officially.
Well, class of 2030, it is my honor to officially welcome you to the upper school. There are many moments to look forward to in the coming years, moments that will reveal themselves in due time. Who knows what state championships may be won again? What awards will be earned, or most importantly, how you will develop your own voices in the next 4 years, whether through the written word, artistic expression, or on the court or field. While we don't know much of what these next 4 years will hold, one thing is for sure. Y'all have a little more homework to do. You may have heard the rumors or been told the tales that the homework load ramps up significantly in the upper school. There may be some truth to that, yet know that when the time comes, we will work with you to develop skills and strategies to help you get the most out of the minutes that you put into your learning. But that is not what I want to focus on right now. Today, I not only want you to know what possibilities could await you, but I want to spotlight who awaits you in the upper school. You are being welcomed by some exceptional and insightful teachers who will provide you with opportunities to discover your voice and develop your talents, some of which you may not even be aware that you have just yet. While some of these teachers will be new faces, there's a good chance you'll get to show some of your past teachers, such as Coach Chakers in neuroscience, Miss Stark in creative writing, or Dr. Sam in AP environmental science, just what you can do as you become a little bit older, a little bit stronger, and a little bit smarter. This is a good thing, because none of you should be ready to put down your pencil just yet. Bit by bit, you will continue to evolve. And as you do, I hope you avoid the feeling of one day simply turning into the next, only to someday regret how many blues turned to black without appreciating the gift you've been given, the chance to grow, change, and step into your own shoes. To do so, I want to encourage you to follow the advice given in the song sung here today. First, try to follow. Aim to emulate the best of what you see in your peers, your parents, and worthy role models. Second, try to lead. There are more formal and informal leadership opportunities in the upper school. Captaining a sports team, becoming an ambassador or peer mentor, representing your peer's voice on student council, or thinking about how your class can become more cohesive and supportive of one another in your endeavors are just a few of the examples where you will be able to grow as leaders. And lastly, for now, please try to learn what is true. There are so many distractions and falsehoods that will tug at your attention. So the pursuit of truthfulness will serve you well in the moments as they come, as well as beyond. And my commitment to you is that we will do our very best to not unnecessarily add to the pressure, and instead give you the space and time to become who you need. Because whoever that is, rightfully and honestly pursued, will be exactly who your friends, your community, and world needs. So, ask good questions, Try new things. Take intellectual risks. Cheer loudly for one another. Let yourself grow and let yourself change. You've got a little more homework to do, and we cannot wait to see who you will continue to become.
This concludes our program. We want to thank you all for being here with us today as we have celebrated this amazing group of young people as they embark on this next chapter. But before we go, it's now the third year in a row has become a little bit of a tradition that I get one last selfie with you, the class of 2030, on your last day of middle school. Oop, where'd he go? There he goes. Smile. Once we have dismissed, once the students have processed, there will be a Light Bites reception for our students and our guests in the middle school quad just over that way. Please join us. Ninth graders, congratulations. You may rise and recess just like we practiced, following Oliver.